Across the American West, there is a drought so vast it stretches from fire-ravaged California to drying lakes, rivers, and wells in Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and Nevada. And in New Mexico, on a ranch along the Continental Divide, cattle pass through a pond that has been bone dry for years.
Normally, this pond would have water probably 8-10 months out of the year.
Like most surrounding states, about 80% of New Mexico is under extreme drought, part of what scientists now consider a mega drought brought on by the changing climate.
And on this ranch, it's been nearly 6 years since they've seen measurable rainfall.
Casey Spradley and her family have been raising cattle here for over a century.
When you own a piece of land, as long as my family's owned this, I mean, they literally came in a covered wagon. Everything here they built. They developed every water source, dug every well, built every fence. So you don't want to be the generation that loses it.
Last year, the drought forced the family to sell off a third of their herd. And this month, they may be forced to sell another 20%.
We always have to talk about that deadline. If we don't get rain by what day, when are we going to call it quits? You know, when are you going to let it go so far that your cows aren't worth anything anymore?
So what's that date for you this year?
If it doesn't turn around, we don't have grass by the 4th of July, then yeah, I think it's going to be quits.
And it's not just ranching. In New Mexico, state officials are asking farmers not to plant this year if they can afford not to.
It's not in a farmer's DNA to drive by a dry bunch of dirt doing nothing.
Glenn Dugans grows New Mexico chili, the state's most prized crop.
See those little baby leaves? That's what we're looking for.
But because of the drought, he was forced to send chili seed to sprout in a greenhouse in Arizona, then transplant 300,000 plants back to his field when the water finally started to flow a month late.
We're going to do everything we can to survive, but it's tough.
The drought laying bare a desperate hope from those who feed the country, a prayer that tomorrow will finally bring the rain. Gotti Schwartz, NBC News, Sandoval County, New Mexico.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.